I'm always looking in a player for some kind of authenticity that they may play gypsyish, but they're playing it as if they found it for the first time. People would have what in Zen they would call beginner's mind, where they hear a sound, and I think that's a bell sound, I'll make another bell sound. Well, that's a bell sound, so what if I do a woody sound and it's completely opposite? So I want as much as possible a kind of primitive, pristine thinking, where people just relate to sound and movement and rhythm, and don't think, ah, that's bebop jazz, I do it like this, oh, that's Miles jazz, so I'm going to do it slightly more like that. One of the extraordinary things about traditional conducting is if you just move your hands a quarter of an inch, the whole sound changes. But the extension of that is if I move my hands a quarter of an inch, people might suddenly improvise in an octave higher or, you know, think of a new idea. So it's essentially a visceral, physical contact. And I like to say always that you have to embody the music, that you don't describe the music, you evoke the music. So I'm a traditional conductor in the sense that if it's getting very jittery, I'm getting the jitteriness. If it's getting very ghostly, I'm finding a body that is ghostly. And I'm a bit like a traditional conductor in that I'm marking time points, but I'm also not like a traditional conductor in that I'm being fed things which may take me in a completely different direction, as well as me taking the players in a completely different direction. So I'm in a sense as naked as they are, in that none of us know where we'll be in a minute's time. The signals are deliberately very elemental. They give basic roles in the music. They don't define material, they don't define range or dimension or key or anything like that. They define just very basic things. So that means stable and repeating, and that means solo. So a soloist is not a member of a choir. A soloist is a soloist. Something that's repeating is repeating. That means stop unless someone's invited to go through the red lights and keep playing through the stop. So the signals need to be totally clear, but elemental. So repetition might mean funky D minor. It might be screaming trills that keep repeating. It might mean odd points, but they never change their character, which is repeating odd points. All my work, I like to work between fixed elements and free elements. And I've become interested in several different kinds of partial score. From a postcard, where you say to the composer only the size of a postcard, so they might just put 2 chords on it and you work out from that, or one melody or something, to a one-page score, which is what I borrowed from American jazz bands, where the composer has to get it all on a sheet of A4, to a backbone, which is a concept I invented of a through composition, but only the backbone, not the arms or the flesh or the teeth or the words that are spoken, just the backbone. So I like to think that ideally there's the best of 3 stages. What's pre-prepared, maybe in a score or in the mind, what's realised and set in the concert, in the rehearsal room, and what's improvised in the concert. And I'm happiest when all 3 are active, I guess. Towards the end of 3, 2. Okay. it's always a question of just practicing the moves at this point, and then the art comes in the performance. But
yeah, I really like
I've worked out that there are only three things you can say to a player: do this, do something like this, and do what you like. I don't think there are any others. So do this is precise instruction with authority. I want a B flat, this length, staccato, this loud, and then they might play it, and then you would say shorter or more percussive. So you define the sound as a leader honestly and strongly, and players like that. At the other end of the scale, you can say do what you like, and you could say to a player, okay, why don't you join in, or we're going to start with everybody just playing and see what happens. But generally speaking, do what you like comes at the right moment. And it's amazing if, having kind of built some crucible, some really good energy, and everybody's really focused, and wait till everyone's really focused, then say, do what you like, and then all sorts of extraordinary things will happen. And it's very important to have the two extremes in good leadership, because at one hand you stand for something, I want this, no that's wrong, no that's wrong, you've got it. And people respect that. And at the other extreme you say, completely trust you, go. And you have to trust them. It's not, I'll trust you, but I hope you do this. It's, I trust you and I don't care what you do. I really, really don't care what you're going to do. And they're the two extremes. And then the bit in the middle, do something like this, is really interesting, because it's a kind of provocative or imaginative exchange where you say very quiet notes that are slightly out of tune with the clarinet. Or you could say something poetic, like you want it very ghostly, or like water, or like sand. You might say something technical, use a lot of repeating B flats, but you choose when you accent them. You might say something a bit provocative, like play like him, but one thing that's different. So you're dealing with psychology, you're dealing with imagination, you're dealing with technical focus, trills in the low register, or B flat chords, or B flat chords whenever he plays an F sharp chord. So it can be quite technical, it can be quite poetic, it can be quite psychological, provoke that other player, or break up what he's doing. And so do something like this. Both gives a focus to the music, but invites a particular player to respond in a particular way. And as ever, the skill is to ask the right player the right thing at the right time. However good free improvisation is, you don't get the same quality as when you have a mixture of freedom and what a friend of mine called critical intervention. My job to them and their job to me is to critically intervene in the processes. And that produces a very different kind of music from we're just improvising freely. So that you don't know, none of us know whether it's going to be a series of very tight, fixed things, or whether it's going to be an hour of free improvisation, or an hour of tight, fixed things, and 10 seconds of free improvisation. So I think my job is to maintain, in the players, but also in myself, dimensional uncertainty. That it may be a second long, it may be an hour long, it may be completely fixed, it may be completely open. And those things then cycle around one another. But basically, we all have to remain uncertain dimensionally.